Let's move forward, Tom. Got a tight end to talk about. Gerald Everett. He left the game last week with, I believe, a quad injury and been limited, question mark. Correct me or explain to me, Tom, what's going on with Gerald Everett.
Did not practice Wednesday, but did practice today on Thursday. Let's keep in mind that the quad is one of the biggest, strongest, most powerful muscles in our lower body. Very, very, very involved in sprinting, cutting, jumping for tight end, blocking as well. And tight ends see a pretty notable hit of about 20% fantasy production in their first game back from a quad injury. With Everett, who comes into this week as the tight end 17, do not start him. There are other options on the waiver wires, and he's pretty touchdown dependent, like all the other guys are anyway. So I do think that this injury is enough to scare me off from starting him, but I don't know that I would even want to start him anyway.
Fair enough. Now, if it was the same injury to a guy like a Kelsey or Waller or Andrews, I'm sure, Tom, you would say.
Different story. And Andrews has had this injury earlier this year, and it was the same stats, the same 20% decline in production, and we still talked about start him because he's that good.
Yeah. And that was on, by the way, because when he came back, he started slowly. Tom, our numbers are pretty damn good. I'm proud of our research. But Gerald Everett, I wrote here, he's the definition of a fringe tight end. And this injury, I totally agree with you. This pushes him towards a sit for me. Back-to-back weeks, 9.3 and 10.1. That's fine. But I had him last year in a bunch of leagues. Disappears quickly. Guys I have real quick over him this week are Kelsey, Hockenson, Andrews, Laporta, Kittle, Waller, Goddard, Kincaid, Ingram, and Jonnu Smith. And then it's a crapshoot if you want to play him or, I don't know, Schultz and Njoku, Komet, who disappears, Pitts, I would probably even play over him, Luke Musgrave. Good luck. It's ugly out there, but I'm leaning towards sitting Gerald Everett for sure. And guys out there, we're thrilled also to be partnering with SeatGeek. Go see your favorite team, Fantasy Stars in action. I would love to go see the Giants-Jets this week. And if I was to do that, I'm not going, but if I was to do that, I would go to SeatGeek 100%, use our code INJURYFANTASY for a $20 off your purchase. It works for everything. So that is SeatGeek. We are partnered with them. TJ Hockenson, averaging 10.4 points per game, a foot injury. Tom, doesn't the foot have 600 bones? That was an exaggeration, but a lot of bones.
It's got a lot of bones, a lot of joints, and looking at the video, the midfoot is the concern, which is, of course, that's what can lead to the Liz Frank injury. But again, like any injury, there's spectrums of severity. So the fact that he's practicing today, Thursday, though limited, that's really, really good news. And he did go back into the game after the injury also and had a really productive day. But any kind of foot injury, it's going to make it difficult to change direction, to sprint even. I mean, the foot has to literally morph shape during the different phases of walking. So if there's an injury, it makes it a little bit harder for it to change shapes. It makes it a little bit harder for someone to just push off of it. Now, they can put protective plates in there and tape up the foot and things like that. And when it's a mild enough injury, that's fine. You can play fine with it. And that's really what it sounds like with Hockenson. It doesn't sound like it's anything super severe at this moment in time. We do need to remember Rashad Bateman last year had a foot injury, rehabbed it a couple weeks, thought everything was fine, went back and played, and then made it worse and needed to have Liz Frank surgery that ended his season. Let's hope that's not the situation with Hockenson. Let's hope this is just super minor and that he can get over it quickly. Which is how it sounds. And with how good he is and how bad the tight end landscape is, you're still rolling with him this week.
Absolutely. I think he's tight end 4. Now, hasn't been electric, hasn't been phenomenal. You take his best 2 weeks out, which of course he still had, to his credit. Best 2 weeks, 22.1 half-point PPR points and 14.1. Take those 2 weeks out, he's averaging just 7.2 points per game. But as a tight end, sign me up for that. I think still good things to come for him as long as he can recover.